What's up guys? So a couple of weeks ago when I revealed my new bike, which is this Husaberg here, I didn't really go into too much detail about it at all. So a lot of you have been asking on my videos some stuff about it, and I decided to make a full introduction and walk around video of this bike. Let's start from the engine. This bike has a 449cc engine. It has one cylinder, it is 4-stroke. So the engine has lots of same components as a KTM FE450's engine, but there are a few main differences. The first thing that you can actually see from the bike is the cylinder, which is almost sideways. The cylinder in itself is the same as in a KTM 450, but in a KTM it would be straight up from the engine block, compared to this one where the cylinder is in a 70-degree angle. And another huge thing compared to a KTM 450 from the same year as this one, this bike has fuel injection rather than a carburetor. And the fuel injection is also made by K-Heen, which makes all the carburetors for KTMs. Well, not the latest ones, but from this era. And it has a 42mm throttle body. Like other KTMs and enduro bikes, this one also has a hydraulic clutch, which is right over there and of course here. The engine makes around 50 to 55 horsepower, which is around 40 kilowatts, I think. And another quite significant difference between this bike and the KTM is that this has no Kickstarter. This one only has the electric starter that you can see right there. Now normally in a KTM at least, the air filter would be somewhere around here. There would be a plastic piece that comes off and then you can access the air filter. But in this bike actually the air filter is right here underneath the seat. And as the seat in this bike is also a quick releasable one, you can see this rubber band over here. So I'm gonna show you guys the air filter, and the seat just comes off like that. So there is the air filter. Also somewhere there is the battery. There's a lot of stuff above it, so you can't really see it. And I guess that black thing over there is the ECU. Well, Husabergs don't have this in stock, but my bike has. Well, you can't really see it. Wait a second. I have this little electric fan over there, which has been fitted there afterwards, and you can operate it from here. This kind of a bike, especially if you ride it in summer in like a city and you have to be at traffic lights, that is a really good thing to have for your bike not to overheat. So also the brakes I think are the same ones as in a KTM, made by Brembo, a 2-piston one in the front and a single piston one in the back. And also, yeah, it's basically the same as in a KTM. And also the speedo on this bike would be, but the original one is broken, so I have this some some basic speedo on my bike. So also among other things that are straight from a KTM is the suspension. The front suspension here is made by WP, which makes the suspensions for all the KTMs. This one can be found in some KTM also. And it's the same thing with the rear shock absorber, but you can't really see it because it's hidden behind the exhaust and plastics. Now the fuel tank in this bike is also a very complicated one. As I showed, the air filter is right here and it's like in the middle of the fuel tank. So the fuel tank actually starts right over here and then it goes right in here, I think, and in here also. So this is like the line for the fuel tank. And this is actually, although you could think that it is a part of the fuel tank or an airbox or something, it is just a hollow rear frame made of plastic, which is also a quite interesting solution on this bike. And for some reason there is a hole in it that you can see straight through. Also the exhaust system on this bike is completely different to a KTM because of the cylinder being sideways in there. So the exhaust manifold has to do all kinds of weird shapes. I'm not even sure, but it goes like there and there. So it's a very weird shape. So as we are talking about the exhaust also, I think I should have a little sound test here to hear how the bike sounds and also to see how the electric starter works. I'm not gonna rev the bike too much because obviously the engine is cold and we are inside this parking garage, so I don't know what my neighbors think of this. And I especially don't want to trigger any car alarms in here. I guess a lot of you also would like to know the top speed of this bike, but unfortunately I am not 100% sure because I haven't tested like the absolute top speed of this one, partly because the tires and partly because of the gearing, which sucks. But with this enduro gearing and enduro tires, I have ridden 130 kilometers an hour with this bike. It would have gone faster, I think, but with supermoto wheels and supermoto gearing, this kind of a bike should be able to hit 180. So looking forward to having this bike on supermotos and testing that out. So yeah, I think that's about it of the bike. The main things explained. It's a pretty simple bike, so there isn't really much to explain. If you have any more questions, be sure to leave them below in the comment section. Like the video if you did, remember to subscribe, and we'll see you on my next video. Bye.